He was the iron-fisted king who unified the entire continent, ruthless and unforgiving. He was the last surviving member of the Wyvern tribe, carrying the weight of a bloody past. What was meant to be a long-standing grudge between two mighty forces. However, she was just a little demon working in the Demon Lord's palace, living a life as mundane as a hamster's. Until by sheer accident she wandered into the wrong scene. From that moment on, every answer she gave could mean life or death. Every chance she had to survive came with a steep price. She thought she had escaped the deadly situation, only to walk straight into his trap. This is the dark domain of Sloth Continent, the Demon Lord's palace. In the kitchen, the maids bustled under the strict supervision of the head chef, preparing lavish meals. At that moment the head chef called out, "Rebecca, come here for a sec." Rebecca immediately replied, "Coming." The head chef handed her an envelope and said with a smile, "Congratulations, you've been promoted." Surprised, Rebecca asked, "That suddenly? Does this mean a pay raise too?" The head chef calmly replied, "It's all in the promotion letter, you can check for yourself." As Rebecca read the letter, she couldn't help but think, after 3 years working in the Demon Palace, has my hard work finally been recognized? Mom, Dad, your daughter is finally making it. Meanwhile, the head chef was left utterly confused. Wait, did we mix something up? How did they promote a kitchen assistant to become the Demon Lord's personal maid? Hearing this, Rebecca froze in place. She thought, panicked, the personal maid of the Demon Lord? Everyone had heard the rumors about Demon Lord Eberlant. He took the throne of the Dark Domain at the age of 10. And in just 10 years he unified the fragmented Dark Domain. He even wiped out the entire royal Wyvern family of a rival kingdom. He quickly became the undisputed strongest ruler on the Sloth Continent. What's even more terrifying is that he personally executed his own mother and sister's entire family. Rebecca suddenly recalled an incident. The Demon Lord had ordered his nephew to be interrogated, and they prepared a large pot of boiling oil. At that time Rebecca was standing by, adding firewood to the pot. Suddenly the Demon Lord appeared, and in her panic she quickly bowed to him. But in her haste she forgot about the lit match in her hand, almost burning the Demon Lord's hand. Terrified, Rebecca dropped the match immediately, but the Demon Lord's attendant scolded her fiercely. "How dare you harm His Majesty? Are you looking to die?" She hurriedly fell to her knees, begging for the Demon Lord's forgiveness. The Demon Lord coldly replied, "Oh? Do you want to see what it feels like to be thrown into the oil pot?" Rebecca was trembling in fear, her body shaking uncontrollably. Looking at the blood-stained tyrant, she thought to herself, forget working under him, just staying alive feels like a miracle. She definitely didn't want to stick around him. So she desperately begged the head chef, "Chef, I'm just a tiny cog in the kitchen. Only with your guidance can I shine. I can't do it without you." The head chef smiled and advised, "Why don't you check the salary and benefits first, then make your decision?" Rebecca took a deep breath and began carefully reading the contents of the letter. As she read through the details, she was stunned and thought, am I seeing this right? I've never seen such adorable numbers before. Paid vacations, triple year-end bonuses, housing and household registration issues solved. This was basically a dream come true for any worker. That means I can send home 3 times as much money as before. This is a golden opportunity. If I don't grab it, what will I do when it's gone? The ultimate mantra of a worker. As long as the money's good, anything can be tolerated. In the women's quarters of the Demon Palace, Rebecca was using a magical communication mirror to talk to her parents. Her father told her, "If you can't adjust, just come home. I can support you." Rebecca reassured him, "Dad, don't worry. I'm doing fine and I'll be able to send back even more money by the end of the year." Her mother suddenly apologized, saying, "Sweetheart, I'm so sorry. It's all because my health failed, and not only did I drain our savings, but I also made you give up your dream of medical school." Rebecca quickly interrupted her, reassuring her, "Mom, don't say such discouraging things. Look, I'm already the Demon Lord's personal maid. I'll get to learn so much and experience so much. Our family is doing better and better, and Mom's health will get better too. Have faith. And working for His Majesty comes with high pay. If I save for a few more years, I can go back home. Then our family will be together again and you'll be healthy too. Dad, Mom, I'm here. I'm going to work now, bye." Soon Rebecca arrived at the Demon Lord's quarters, the Crimson Moon Palace. She looked up at the grand palace, thinking to herself, "This will be my battleground from now on." "You've got this, Rebecca." The head maid of the palace handed her a broom and coldly ordered, "Go clean the Phoenix Hall." Rebecca's heart skipped a beat, feeling hesitant. She had heard that the Phoenix Hall was a forbidden place. The head maid, noticing her hesitation, sneered, "I heard from the head chef that you're hardworking. Why are you stalling on your first task?" People around her murmured in agreement, whispering amongst themselves. Rebecca didn't want to make a bad impression on the head maid right away, so she reluctantly agreed to the task. Watching her retreating figure, the crowd started to gossip. They said that the Phoenix Hall was home to some of the most ruthless and dangerous war prisoners, especially the one locked away in the lowest level whose identity remains a mystery. Anyone who had dared to enter the Phoenix Hall before was either dead or left severely crippled. As soon as Rebecca stepped into the hall, she immediately felt something was off. Suddenly, a powerful wave of dark energy surged through her body, followed by the chilling, anguished wails of countless evil spirits echoing in the air. Then just as suddenly, the wailing ceased and the silence that followed was suffocating. Could it be that there's something in the lowest level that everyone is terrified of? Rebecca struggled with all her might, not wanting to die here without any explanation. She needed to escape further down, but what kind of terrifying creature could be down there? Just then she felt something behind her slowly closing in, and fear instantly consumed her. In a panic, a hand suddenly reached out from the darkness and shoved her violently down to the lowest level. Struggling through the pain, Rebecca slowly opened her eyes, and the first thing she saw was a man with white hair, pointed ears, and large wings on his back. His limbs were bound tightly by thick iron chains, and he exuded a mysterious and dangerous aura. A chill ran down Rebecca's spine. A wyvern. But wasn't the wyvern tribe wiped out by the demon lord already? At that moment the evil spirit sneered, "She's done for. That dragon's been locked up and driven insane. Going in there is worse than dying at our hands." She knew she'd be devoured, leaving nothing but bones behind. Hearing the evil spirit's words, Rebecca felt a surge of panic. Will he really eat me? Though his overwhelming presence made it hard to breathe, he lay still, different from the malevolent spirits outside. Perhaps he would be her only chance at survival. As she struggled to rise on her wounded body, she was met with a sight that froze her in terror. At her feet lay a pile of skulls. Before she could calm herself from the terror those skulls invoked, the wyvern's thick tail shot out like a bolt of black lightning, coiling tightly around Rebecca. The tail squeezed tighter and tighter, choking her neck. In that moment she finally understood that the evil spirits had been right. Those who had entered before her were dead at his hands. She was just an ant, ready to be crushed at any moment. Rebecca felt a sudden tightness in her chest as the fear of death washed over her like a tidal wave. She struggled desperately, pleading for the wyvern to spare her, assuring him that she hadn't meant to intrude. Through her tears she begged, "My mom is still sick. If I die she won't survive either." But all she received in return was cold, indifferent silence. Rebecca cautiously lifted her eyes, and to her shock she noticed the wyvern was injured, with blood still dripping from the wound. For reasons she couldn't understand, a surge of concern rose within her. The wyvern locked eyes with her. Rebecca felt a crushing sense of hopelessness. How could she be saying these things right now? And to this wyvern of all creatures. Then the wyvern's lips curled slightly, revealing a faint, unsettling smile. He sneered, "You're nothing but discarded trash thrown into this place." Rebecca hurriedly explained, her voice hoarse from fear and suffocation, "I'm the demon lord's personal maid. Today is my first day on the job. I hadn't even seen His Majesty yet when I was tricked into coming here by other maids. I didn't mean to disturb you." Upon hearing this, the wyvern's lips curled into a sly, almost amused smile, as if he had heard something entertaining. He then released his tail from around Rebecca's neck. She gasped for air, and the relief she felt still lingered in her chest. Then the wyvern's deep voice rumbled again, "Little thing, I can save you." Rebecca instantly felt a weight lift off her shoulders, as though she had escaped from the depths of despair. Before she could feel fully relieved, the wyvern's voice came again, slower this time, "I won't save you for free. Will you accept?" In her heart, Rebecca knew that he was like a hidden reef beneath the sea. Dangerous, yet at this moment he was her only hope for survival. Even if ahead was an endless abyss, there was no retreat. She had no choice but to cling to this sliver of hope. She nodded, resolute. And then the wyvern suddenly leaned in, kissing her lips gently. The taste of blood filled the space between their lips. A strong instinct told Rebecca that from now on, their fates would be tightly intertwined. Meanwhile, Parsino coldly called out, "Gary, Rebecca, Katie, you three will assist His Majesty with his bath today." When Parsino noticed Rebecca didn't respond, he furrowed his brow and asked, "Where is she? Is she not here yet?" The room fell silent as all the maids lowered their heads. The head maid, panic rising in her chest, immediately pointed the finger at Rebecca. "She took advantage of our distraction and snuck into the Phoenix Hall." As soon as she finished speaking, Rebecca appeared suddenly in front of them. "Sorry I'm late." Everyone was left speechless, unable to believe that Rebecca had come out of the Phoenix Hall completely unharmed. Fearing that Rebecca might report her to His Majesty, the head maid quickly grabbed the corner of Rebecca's clothes, stopping her. "You know what to say and what not to say, right?" Rebecca smiled faintly, casting a glance over her shoulder, her eyes flashing with a barely noticeable defiance. "I'll handle it." Shortly after, Rebecca and the other two maids were escorted into the Demon Lord's chambers. Rebecca felt that her luck had truly run out. She had just escaped the dragon's den, and now she was walking straight into the tiger's lair. It was exhausting. Soon, Parsino gestured for everyone to stop. He approached the Demon Lord alone, respectfully reporting, "Your Majesty, the three maids have arrived." A powerful and terrifying aura hit them like a wall. Rebecca's heart chilled and she instinctively lowered her head, too afraid to look up. "One of you three is a traitor." The Demon Lord's voice was cold and piercing. Rebecca's heart raced in panic as she heard those words, her pulse quickening dramatically. The Demon Lord, sword in hand, took slow, deliberate steps toward her. He reached out and lifted Rebecca's chin, coldly questioning, "So you're the new maid, Rebecca?" Rebecca trembled with fear, her mind racing. Has he discovered the deal I made with the wyvern? The wyvern had told Rebecca that he needed a strand of the Demon Lord's hair, and threatened that if she didn't bring it within 2 days she would die. Rebecca answered with difficulty, "Yes, Your Majesty." She hadn't fully recovered from her panic when she suddenly heard the sharp sound of a sword slicing through the air. Terrified, she slowly turned her head, only to find the Demon Lord's sword was already inches from her. Warm blood splattered out, staining the cold ground, the scent of blood quickly filling the air. Rebecca's legs gave way and she collapsed onto the floor. Parsino explained, Gary had been secretly passing information about His Majesty to the second prince of the Grey Wolf clan, and was punished with the splitting punishment, to set an example for others. Witnessing such a horrifying scene, Rebecca was completely paralyzed with fear. The Demon Lord, however, smirked slightly, a playful expression on his face showing no mercy. Without giving Rebecca any chance to catch her breath, he coldly ordered, "Prepare the bath." Inside, Rebecca groaned in despair, but she dared not refuse, forcing herself to reply, "Yes, Your Majesty." Today it seemed a single strand of hair could cost her life. After all, the Demon Lord before her was 100 times more ruthless than she had ever imagined. In the blink of an eye, the Demon Lord shed his clothes and leisurely sank into the bath. A glimmer of hope flashed in Rebecca's eyes. Perhaps there would be a strand of his hair on his clothes. She searched everywhere, inside and out, countless times, but found nothing. She told herself she would not give up. She forced herself to suppress the fear inside and walked over, pretending to be calm as she helped the Demon Lord dry his hair. She thought to herself, "Every time I dry my hair I shed the most. Maybe the Demon Lord is the same." But just when she thought she was close to succeeding, she discovered there wasn't a single strand on the towel. The Demon Lord's hair was truly like that of a divine being. Rebecca was frantic. She only had 2 days, as the wyvern had said. Time was running out, and suddenly, a bold idea popped into her mind. Just yank the Demon Lord's hair. But if I yank his hair and he notices, I might end up like that maid. I need to find a way to distract him so the slight pain from pulling a strand might not catch his attention. At that moment, the Demon Lord's cold voice rang out again. "I hear you and her are from the same hometown and you're close friends." Before the words had even finished, another maid, Katie, was violently grabbed by the throat. "So, you're also guilty of withholding information?" Katie begged. Your Majesty, I truly had no idea. Rebecca watched in horror, unable to tear her eyes away. Rebecca knew all too well that the demon lord was a ruthless madman, who, for the crimes of his sister, had thrown her entire family into the boiling oil, sparing even his underage nephew. He was like a paranoid black mamba, ready to kill anyone he suspected without hesitation. As Rebecca watched, a wave of complex emotions surged within her. On one hand, she saw this as a perfect opportunity to steal a strand of his hair. But on the other hand, she couldn't bear to watch someone die without doing anything. In this moment of life or death, Rebecca's heart was a storm, unable to calm. She took a deep breath and dropped to her knees with a thud, her voice trembling as she pleaded, "Please, Your Majesty, spare her. If you suspect her, you can expel her from the palace, but please don't kill her. In your eyes, perhaps her life is as insignificant as an ant, but to the people waiting for her at home, she is all their hope and meaning." The demon lord glared at Rebecca with a fierce look. "So you're her accomplice?" Rebecca froze, then nervously replied, "I was just transferred from the kitchen today, and I heard the order came directly from Your Majesty. How could I be her accomplice? I speak for her because I can't stand to watch an innocent person die. It's because she, like me, is just an ordinary person trying to make a living under your command, hoping to save enough to return home and reunite with her family. Your Majesty, you high above, must have people waiting for your return too, right? Please don't let a family fall into despair just because of suspicion. Spare her life." With that, Rebecca respectfully bowed her head, her heart pounding wildly. The guards and maids around them anxiously watched the demon lord, fearing what he might do. After a moment, the demon lord's face darkened and he snorted coldly. With a swift motion, he flung his hand and the maid was sent flying 3 yards away. "Leave," the demon lord's cold voice echoed throughout the hall. The maid scrambled to escape, crawling and stumbling, while Rebecca quickly knelt, thanking the demon lord for his mercy. Rebecca then stepped forward, intending to drape the bathrobe over the demon lord. But fate had a cruel joke in store for her. Her foot slipped and an inconspicuous bar of soap sent her tumbling. She lost control and flew directly toward the demon lord. In a split second, the demon lord spun around and dodged, while Rebecca plunged headfirst into the steaming bath, splashing water everywhere, and swallowing a few mouthfuls of the demon lord's bathwater. The demon lord coldly spoke, "Let her remember this lesson." The guards nodded in understanding and immediately replied, "Yes, Your Majesty." Rebecca narrowly escaped the demon lord's wrath, and secretly grinned as she looked at the few strands of hair she had stolen. But her joy lasted no more than 2 seconds. The guard stood in front of her and declared, "Rebecca, hear this. Because you dared to confront His Majesty, you are to be confined for 3 days as a warning." When she heard the 3-day sentence, she felt as if lightning had struck her. In the confinement room, Rebecca stared out the window, anxiously thinking to herself, "What should I do? There's only 1 hour left before my meeting with the wyvern, and I still haven't figured out how to escape." That window was her only way out. Suddenly, an idea struck her. It seems the only way out is to transform back into my original form. With that, she quickly transformed, turning back into the cute little hamster. She strained every muscle, crawling through the window, finally escaping the tiny, dark room. I'm out," she couldn't help but laugh with joy. But just as she was celebrating, a blinding blue light suddenly struck. The powerful force slammed her back and she landed flat on the ground with a mouse crash. Immediately, the guards, as if handling a little chick, grabbed her and lifted her up. Rebecca trembled with fear. Suddenly she had an idea. She quickly batted her big, innocent eyes and tried to plead with them. But the guards were unmoved, and just like that, Rebecca was tossed back into the dark room. There was a barrier blocking her, she couldn't get out at all. Just then, Rebecca suddenly felt a sharp pain in her body. Her body felt as though thousands of steel needles were piercing her at once. And it was as if she were being torn apart in a raging inferno. Is this what the wyvern meant by, "There's no escaping death"? In less than a second, her body began to disintegrate, turning into specks of light, until she was completely reduced to ashes, leaving only the empty silence of the dark room behind. At that moment, deep in the dungeon, the wyvern's anticipation turned to disappointment. As expected, another useless failure. But then, out of nowhere, Rebecca suddenly appeared before him. The wyvern's pupils instantly contracted in shock, staring at her in disbelief. He never could have imagined that the girl would appear alive right in front of him. Rebecca's voice trembled from the pain. "Help me, please. Save me." She suddenly felt a strange sensation. The man before her radiated a mysterious and deadly aura. This aura made her blood instantly boil. And an unprecedented desire surged from deep within her, taking over her entire body in an instant. She uncontrollably grabbed the wyvern's arm. And then, almost frantically, she opened her mouth and bit down on his skin, hungrily drinking his blood. As the blood flowed into her throat, her consciousness slowly began to return. The intense pain in her body gradually receded like a receding tide. When she fully regained her senses, she realized the wyvern's cold, harsh face was mere inches away, and her hand was still tightly gripping his blood-soaked arm. "Had enough? Or would you like some more?" The wyvern's voice was low and chilling. Rebecca jolted as if shocked by electricity, quickly letting go of his arm and murmuring, I'm sorry." She couldn't understand why she had done something so bold and reckless. The wyvern lowered his gaze, staring at the clear, savage bite marks on his arm, a smirk slowly spreading across his lips. "You're so small, yet your strength is surprising." Fear filled Rebecca's heart, silently praying that the wyvern would spare her life. Then the wyvern's cold voice spoke again. "When you were on the brink of death, I placed a dragon pill inside you. Though it temporarily sustained your life, the dragon pill requires dragon blood to nourish it. If it doesn't, within 2 days the dragon pill will either burn your flesh or revert to its true form." The wyvern's eyes flickered with confusion. He couldn't understand why the dragon pill hadn't taken the girl's life and instead brought her here. But this girl had certainly piqued his growing interest, and he was eager to see how she would fare in the future. Upon hearing the wyvern's words, Rebecca suddenly understood that from now on she would have to rely on his blood to sustain her life. The wyvern promised her that as long as she obediently did his bidding, he would be happy to supply her with dragon blood. However, Rebecca hesitated. Betraying the demon lord was also a one-way ticket to death. Moreover, given her skills, she probably wouldn't last 2 days before being killed. At this thought, Rebecca felt a deep sense of injustice, wondering why fate had thrown her into this mess. But the wyvern wasn't done yet. He threw out another tempting offer. "Do one more thing for me and I'll ensure the dragon pill remains permanently dormant in your body." Rebecca glanced back wary and asked, "Ah, really?" The wyvern sneered, "My dragon pill has a power that no one knows about. Now that you have Aberlin's hair, I can use it as a medium, and you'll be able to enter Aberlin's dreams." Rebecca's heart skipped a beat. "What? Enter His Majesty's dreams?" "That's right. I want you to find my lost scale in his dream." Rebecca looked at the wyvern's wound and realized that was where his lost scale used to be, feeling a pang of sympathy. But in the next second, her logic quickly returned, thinking, it must be because the wyvern had done so much evil that the demon lord took away his scale. He doesn't deserve sympathy. But this should be a battle between two powerful figures. Why did it involve her, a mere pawn? The more she thought about it, the more unfair it seemed. Without thinking, Rebecca cried out, "I don't want to go. I don't want to die." Hearing this, the wyvern replied coldly, "If that's the case, then I'll have to take back my dragon pill. Once the dragon pill leaves your body, you will die instantly." The wyvern sized Rebecca up, a glimmer of amusement flashing in his eyes. "In my pile of dead bodies, I'm not short of your head, especially since your skull is quite full and has some ornamental value." Desperate to save her life, Rebecca grabbed onto the lifeline the wyvern threw at her, swearing, "I will complete the task." The wyvern nodded in satisfaction and explained, "Once the dream ends, the dragon pill will erase the demon lord's memory of the dream. You'll be safe in reality." Rebecca was full of questions and was about to ask how to proceed. But the wyvern spoke first. "Don't worry. The pill contains a portion of my power. It will enter the dream with you. You just need to follow its guidance." Rebecca thought to herself, being controlled by the internal pill of the demon lord's enemy in his dream? Isn't this like forcing me to ride on the tiger's back while sharpening a knife? The wyvern glanced at his blood-soaked arm. He chuckled lowly and leaned in close to Rebecca's ear, whispering, "Next time, you'll have to exchange my blood for the hiding place of my lost scale." As soon as he finished speaking, he waved his hand. A massive magic circle appeared out of nowhere, emanating a mysterious and dangerous aura. Before Rebecca could prepare herself mentally, the wyvern pushed her straight into the center of the circle. In an instant, the world spun around her. And when she regained her senses, she found herself in an endless, dark space. Countless sharp sword-like raindrops, like deadly meteors, came rushing at her. Rebecca stared in terror, desperately dodging left and right, trying to escape this terrifying attack. But no matter how hard she tried, it felt like she was trapped in an invisible cage, unable to escape. Just when she was about to give up, the dragon pill appeared and explained, "This is the demon lord's mental border. His defensive consciousness takes the form of sword rain to prevent external intrusion. But don't worry, this is just a mental construct. There's pain but no real injury. Although the pain alone could very well take your life." She was worried. If the demon lord didn't dream, would all her suffering be in vain? The dragon pill replied calmly, "That's a possibility. But in the mental space, you can create items with your imagination. Try imagining an umbrella that can block the sword rain." Rebecca's eyes lit up and she quickly closed them, letting her imagination run wild. She wanted a thick little iron umbrella. But when she opened her eyes with great anticipation, the result was the same. Nothing had changed. A useless piece of wood. The dragon pill cursed, frustrated. Suddenly, the entire mental space shook violently. The dragon pill's expression changed drastically as it said, "The demon lord is dreaming. I cannot appear in his dream. I'll have to slip away for now." The next second, Rebecca felt an overwhelming force pull her into another space. When she regained her balance, she found herself dressed in a nurse's outfit, standing in a magnificent chamber. Moonlight poured through the window, casting a hazy silhouette on the floor. Rebecca's heart raced and she thought to herself, "Is this the demon lord? In dreams, everything is shaped by his consciousness, even your appearance." The voice of the dragon pill echoed in her mind. Upon hearing this, Rebecca's heart skipped a beat. Late night, a palace chamber, a lone man and woman, and a nurse's uniform. Her face flushed red and she couldn't help but think, the demon lord is quite the player. Is this a dream with color? The thought of possibly facing her first ever workplace harassment made Rebecca panic, and she immediately started running. But just as she took her first step, the door slammed shut with a thud. Rebecca took a deep breath, repeatedly telling herself, "It's just a dream, it's all fake." She cautiously moved toward the demon lord's bed, when she suddenly heard a soft, cute little voice ask, "Sister, where are we injecting today?" Rebecca was instantly stunned. It was just the demon lord a moment ago. How did everything change so suddenly? A bold thought flashed through her mind, but she decided to confirm the situation first. She forced a calm smile and asked, "Little one, what's your name?" The little boy blinked his big innocent eyes and replied, "Nurse sister, what's wrong? I'm Crown Prince Berlant." Rebecca was instantly melted by his cuteness, internally exclaiming, "He's so adorable." The demon lord ascended the throne at 10 and he called himself Crown Prince. So this must be before he became the demon lord. Perfect, it's much easier to get along with a child than the current demon lord. Rebecca remembered what the dragon pill said. Once the dream ends, the demon lord won't remember anything. He thought, great. That means I can do whatever I want. First order of business? A full-on teasing session. She pounced on the adorable little demon lord, ruffling his hair and hugging him like a crazed fan. Then she playfully threatened, "Big sis is gonna give you a shot. Right in the butt." To her shock, the little demon lord obediently turned around and stuck out his tiny butt. Rebecca was instantly stunned. Wait, aren't kids supposed to throw tantrums when it's time for shots? Why is this going completely off script? The little demon lord bit his lip, quietly enduring the sting. And when it was done, he even smiled and said, "Thank you, nurse lady." Seeing his adorable and pitiful expression, Rebecca suddenly felt a pang of guilt. Maybe she shouldn't be messing with a kid like this. She gently pulled out a handkerchief and wiped away the tear from the little demon lord's eye. Shots don't hurt as much when there's candy after. Want a piece of candy from Big Sis? At the mention of candy, his eyes instantly lit up. You're the best, sister. Rebecca tried to recall what the dragon pill had said and attempted to summon candy out of thin air. After trying 49 different ways, she still got absolutely nothing. She looked at the little demon lord's eager, hopeful expression, and couldn't bear to let him down. Suddenly an idea hit her. Taking his small hand in hers, she said, "There's no real candy right now, but let's pretend with this for now." As she spoke, she began to carefully draw a candy in his palm with her finger. The little demon lord watched her focused expression, his heart skipping a beat. And somewhere between one blink and the next, the child faded, replaced by the tall, grown demon lord. Rebecca finished the drawing and smiled. "Next time I'll bring you a real piece of candy. Promise." But as soon as she looked up and saw the tall, cold-faced demon lord standing in front of her, she completely froze. She instinctively jumped back several meters, stammering, "Why, Your Majesty?" Her mind was in chaos. What the heck is happening? Is this some kind of live-action transformation show? Meanwhile, the demon lord was staring intently at his palm, lost in thought. How could such a tiny candy drawing stir something so unfamiliar in his heart? Then, unexpectedly, his gloomy expression melted into a radiant smile. "You promised, right? Next time bring real candy." Rebecca stood stunned. She never imagined the infamous demon lord could smile so gently. He looked over his newly bulked-up physique with pride, completely thrilled. "I can't believe your medicine worked so fast, big sis. I'm stronger now. Those old ministers are gonna be terrified of me. No one can call me a kid anymore." Rebecca's brain clicked into gear. Wait, was that medicine some kind of body-maturing serum? But mentally he's still 10 years old. Before she could even think it through, the demon lord lunged at her like an overgrown puppy and threw himself into her arms. He looked up at her, his voice soft and sincere. "Sister, can I sleep with you tonight?" Rebecca panicked, suddenly realizing that her nurse's uniform had somehow turned into a revealing little nightgown. Just as she was about to decline, the urgent voice of the dragon pill rang in her mind. "Say yes. This could be your best chance to find out where the reverse scale is hidden." Left with no choice, Rebecca forced herself to nod. The demon lord snuggled up to her like a giant, obedient puppy and soon drifted off to sleep. In the quiet room, only the sound of 2 beating hearts could be heard. Rebecca's brain went completely blank. Looking at his peaceful, innocent sleeping face, an indescribable emotion began to stir within her. Then he whispered, "Sister, tomorrow is my coronation. I'm scared. I can't sleep at all." Rebecca instinctively reached out, gently patting his back. "Don't worry. I'll stay with you, Your Highness." But suddenly he opened his eyes and stared at her with intensity. "Sister, look at me. Do you think I look strong enough to scare them tomorrow?" As he spoke, he furrowed his brows and pursed his lips into a sharp, serious line, trying his best to appear cold and commanding. But with that baby face, the result was more adorable than intimidating. That moment struck Rebecca right in her girlish heart. "You may look grown up now, but your actions are still a bit childish," she said. "Then what should I do? Teach me, sis. Please." Rebecca thought, that's easy. Just copy the real-life version of his cold-blooded self. So she smiled and said, "All right, watch closely." She began dramatically reenacting the demon lord's usual expressions, cold glares, commanding gestures, threatening posture, over and over again like a stage actress. Suddenly she felt a tight grip around her neck. The demon lord flipped her down onto the bed in one swift motion. A bloodthirsty gleam flashed in his eyes as he growled, "You dare climb onto the king's bed? Courting death." Rebecca's heart nearly stopped. She thought he'd gone rogue and was about to end her right there. But the next second he let go and grinned cheerfully. "Did I do good, sister?" Rebecca gave a helpless smile. "Talent like this really is terrifying. But sister, the ministers are all stronger than me. I'm still really nervous." Looking at the young demon lord, Rebecca felt a wave of tenderness. So young, yet already forced to act like a ruler among wolves. It really wasn't easy for him. She reached out and gently ruffled his hair, whispering softly, "Aya, you've got this. One day you'll be a truly great king." The demon lord's eyes lit up with joy at her words, a smile blooming across his face. Then slowly he leaned in closer to her and placed a gentle kiss on her cheek. "Sister, you taste even sweeter than candy." Rebecca's mind went completely blank, her heart pounding uncontrollably in her chest. By the time she snapped out of it, the demon lord's strikingly handsome face was now just inches away, making Rebecca's breath catch in her throat. "Sister, I have a gift for you." Rebecca was still lost in a whirlwind of flustered thoughts. replaying that kiss over and over in her mind. Oh my god. I was just kissed by a ruthless tyrant. No, 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 snap out of it. He's just a kid right now. The demon lord handed her an intricately decorated little box. This is for you, sister. Rebecca hesitated, unsure how to respond, until the dragon pill's voice echoed in her head. Take it. In dreams, secrets from the subconscious often appear in the form of sealed objects. This might be the key to the reverse scale. She took a calming breath, put on a smile, and accepted the gift. Upon opening it, she found an adorable hair clip shaped like a little mouse inside. The hair clip looked strangely familiar, like she'd seen it somewhere before. Before she could piece it together, the demon lord had already stepped closer and gently clipped it into her hair himself. With admiration in his eyes, he said, "As I thought, this hair clip looks perfect on you. You're so beautiful, sister." Rebecca's cheeks burned red, her heart racing. Wait, is this a confession? The demon lord in this dream felt so different, so much softer, almost sincere. Suddenly, the room began to shake violently and the dragon pill shouted, "No. The dream is destabilizing." Rebecca's mind reeled. Is he waking up? She watched in panic as the demon lord's figure began to fade away, and her own body was also disappearing. Oh, I haven't found the reverse scale yet. The mission, it's not complete. When Rebecca opened her eyes again, the wyvern was standing before her, smiling faintly. Congratulations. You did well. His strange calmness made Rebecca instantly step back a few meters, alarmed. But I didn't find the reverse scale. The mission failed. Are you here to take back the dragon pill? The wyvern slowly shook his head. Before I was imprisoned here, I too tried entering Aberlin's dreams many times. But I was either trapped at the edges of the dream or destroyed by his defensive consciousness. Tsunamis, monsters, rivers of fire. You, on the other hand, made it through easily. The dragon pill sensed it. He didn't resist you. In fact, I'd say he trusts you. Rebecca stared at him, incredulous. Me? A nobody? How could the demon lord trust someone like me? The wyvern mused. Your first time in his dream, he already gave you something personal. Keep entering his dreams and he might eventually reveal the reverse scale's location. Rebecca's thoughts churned. Could that secret really be the little hamster hair clip? But more urgently, he wanted her to go back in again. She jolted upright, blurting, "Wait, a few more times? What does that even mean?" The wyvern explained, "The secret he gave you was too ordinary. I believe it has to do with the item used to link you into the dream. The more emotionally tied the object is to the dreamer, the deeper into their subconscious you can go. That means saliva, tears, blood, even." He trailed off. Rebecca's face drained of color. His blood. Are you insane? I could barely manage a hair. How am I supposed to get blood? The wyvern rested his chin in his hand, smirking. Oh, so you'd rather go for his saliva, his tears, or that thing? That sounds even harder. Rebecca was absolutely floored by his shamelessly casual tone, her face turning beet red. Her mind was a mess. Maybe I should just tell the demon lord everything? At least I'd stop being blackmailed. Who knows, maybe he'd even reward my loyalty and protect me. But the moment that thought surfaced, the image of the maid who'd been brutally executed resurfaced in her memory. And just like that, her courage evaporated. No, not yet. This wyvern might be twisted and unpredictable, but he still needs me. He won't kill me, at least not now. Steeling herself, Rebecca took a deep breath. Fine. I'll do it. But I have a condition. The wyvern's tone turned icy. Let's hear it. Rebecca squared her shoulders. I'm just a low-ranking maid in the Scarlet Moon Palace. I barely get close to His Majesty. Getting his blood won't be easy. 2 days isn't enough. I need 6 days. And during that time, you have to keep supplying me with your blood. The wyvern looked at her, then slowly smiled. Deal. Then, without warning, the wyvern reached to his chest and plucked out a black and red scale, handing it to Rebecca. Keep this with you. It contains information about the demon lord's habits and preferences. Rebecca's eyes widened. How do you know all this? The wyvern gave a cold, amused smile. That's not your concern. What you should understand is this. The more he likes you in the real world, the deeper you'll be able to go in his dreams. And the deepest layer of someone's consciousness, his voice dropped, is a very, very fun place. Rebecca felt a chill down her spine. Wait, are you basically asking me to charm the demon lord? Meanwhile, back in the real world, Pacino arrived at the confinement chamber. Rebecca's time is up, he told the guard. Let her out. The guard nodded and pulled out his key to unlock the door, only to find Rebecca's upper body inside, and her lower half missing. Rebecca looked down in horror. Oh no, not again. My bottom half didn't make it back. After all those tries, and it still failed. In a panic, Rebecca quickly ducked behind the door to hide herself. The guard opened the door and, seeing the empty confinement room, nearly panicked, thinking she had escaped. Luckily, at the last possible second, Rebecca managed to teleport her lower half back into place. She peeked out from behind the door with a cheeky grin. Oops. Fell asleep. On the way back, her mind was consumed with planning how to make the most of the spells the wyvern had taught her, and figure out how to get a few drops of the demon lord's blood within the next 4 days. Suddenly, a warm-smelling bag of bread interrupted her thoughts. Pacino offered it gently. Miss Rebecca, you should eat something first. Thank you, Commander Pacino. She accepted it gratefully. Never in her wildest dreams did she expect someone so kind to exist beside such a brutal ruler. Pacino then added calmly, the next few days will be busy. His Majesty is hosting a banquet for all the dukes and crowned guests. Just a word of advice, watch out for the princesses. Every one of them is difficult. The very next day the palace was alive with energy, preparing for the grand annual royal banquet. In truth, this banquet was nothing more than a royal matchmaking gala in disguise. Noble ladies and princesses from all corners of the realm were here for one reason: to win the favor of the kingdom's most eligible bachelor, the demon lord. Rebecca was assigned to serve Princess Lily of the Northern Realm. Her father, the Wind King of the North, controlled an enormous magical army, and Lily had known the demon lord since childhood. Judging by her determined gaze, she had made up her mind. She would marry him no matter what. His Majesty arrives, the herald announced loudly. Instantly, the crowd parted with reverent precision, bowing their heads. The demon lord made his entrance, radiating an icy aura that screamed, "Do not approach." Every step he took was deliberate, powerful, and silent. Rebecca immediately dropped to her knees, head lowered so low her forehead nearly touched the ground. Her heart raced with panic. What if he remembers the dream? What if he recognizes me? But the demon lord walked right past her without so much as a glance. Rebecca fought to keep her composure, willing herself not to tremble. Only once he had gone far enough did she dare exhale. Looks like the wyvern was right. Dreamers retain no memory of dreamwalkers. The demon lord standing before them now was nothing like the timid, endearing boy from the dream. In real life, he exuded power and poise, commanding the room with the effortless presence of a true king. To her surprise, a flicker of anticipation stirred in Rebecca's chest. A small part of her wondered, was there a hidden gentleness buried somewhere deep inside this cold, ruthless ruler? But she quickly snapped herself out of it. Her priority was clear: figure out a way to obtain his blood. Just as she was racking her brain, she suddenly felt an intense gaze land on her. But in the very next second, it vanished as quickly as it came. The noble ladies nearby had clearly noticed. A flurry of whispers erupted. His Majesty looked at Princess Lily just now, didn't he? We don't stand a chance. Yet Princess Lily didn't look pleased at all. Her eyes narrowed at Rebecca as she said coldly, "Is that so?" "It's been over a decade since I last saw His Majesty," Princess Lily said with a sweet smile that didn't reach her eyes. "And yet he recognized me instantly. I'm truly flattered." Under Lily's icy gaze, Rebecca felt a chill crawl down her spine, as if she were being targeted by a predator. Elsewhere, the demon lord quietly asked, "Pacino, any progress?" Pacino replied, 2 days ago, we detected a faint magical pulse at the deepest level of the Phoenix Hall. If one of the dukes had entered, there would be no trace. This residue suggests someone with low magical ability. I've also found someone with a suspicious connection to the prisoner." Just then a loud gasp rang out. The demon lord turned his head toward the commotion. Rebecca had accidentally spilled red wine on Princess Lily's dress. Whispers broke out among the guests. Wasn't it Lily who bumped into her first? Why pick on a maid? Fueled by jealousy, Lily stormed up to the demon lord. Your Majesty, I'm furious. I designed this dress myself, staying up nights, selecting rare fabrics, and hiring over 100 master tailors. Now it's ruined by a clumsy servant. Please allow me to take her back to the north. I'll see to her discipline personally. She added with an almost gentle tone, she's just a common maid after all. Surely your Majesty wouldn't mind. Pacino's mind raced. The king suspects the northern lord of rebellion. This could be a perfect chance to plant an agent. But Lily's temper is infamous. If Rebecca goes with her, she might not come back. Meanwhile, Rebecca's heart pounded wildly. There's no way the king will offend a beloved princess for someone like me. If I want to survive, I'll have to save myself. With a loud thud, Rebecca dropped to her knees and cried out, I can't leave. I'm in love with Commander Pacino. We're in a relationship. We can't be apart even for a day. Her words froze the entire banquet hall. The crowd went dead silent and Pacino's expression went blank, utterly stunned. But when he saw the desperation in Rebecca's tearful eyes, he couldn't bring himself to expose her lie. With a sigh, he stepped forward and pleaded on her behalf. Everyone knew how close the demon lord and Pacino were, brothers in all but blood. For the sake of appearances, Princess Lily had no choice but to bite back her anger. She forced a smile. Fine. I'll go change my dress. Excuse me. Rebecca let out a massive sigh of relief. She dodged disaster. Or so she thought. But her impromptu declaration had earned her a dangerous new observer, the demon lord himself. He looked at Pacino with narrowed eyes and asked coldly, Since when were you two involved? Pacino, sweating bullets, had no choice but to bluff. Well, I liked her for a while. And after seeing how brave she was during confinement, I confessed when she got out. The demon lord's lips curled into a sly smile. Then I hope you've chosen wisely. Pacino watched the demon lord's retreating figure and sighed inwardly. Rebecca may have saved herself for now. But His Majesty is suspicious by nature. From now on, she's definitely on his radar. I just hope she can make it through unscathed. The ballroom reached its peak and the music swelled. The first dance of the night was about to begin. Princess Lily, now in an even more extravagant gown, returned to the hall, glowing with anticipation. She was sure the demon lord would ask her. But instead he turned and walked straight toward Rebecca. Extending his hand, he said calmly, Miss, may I have this first dance? The room exploded. Guests murmured in shock. Is this his way of rejecting all the princesses? He picked a maid. Rebecca stood frozen in place. Dance. I can't even walk straight in heels. The moment they stepped onto the floor, she began trampling all over the demon lord's feet like a flailing duckling. He winced, barely holding back a groan. You could have told me you can't dance. You invited me, Your Majesty, she whispered nervously. How could I say no? Yet her feet still refused to cooperate, and one spin nearly sent both of them tumbling. The demon lord shoved her away, his eyes burning with frustration. Rebecca's heart dropped. That's it. I'm dead. But to her shock, his expression softened. In a low voice he said, Step on my shoes. I'll lead. Rebecca blinked in disbelief. The cold-blooded tyrant is letting me step on him. His gaze sharpened, voice dropping an octave. Don't make me repeat myself. Trembling slightly, she looped her arms around his neck. Then gently, carefully stepped onto his polished leather shoes. They began to move again, swaying to the rhythm as if they'd danced together for years. The closeness made her dizzy. She stared up at his strikingly handsome face. Her heart was completely out of rhythm. And somehow, his presence didn't terrify her. It made her feel oddly safe. Suddenly, the demon lord leaned in, his breath hot against her ear. Last night, he whispered, a bold little creature invaded my dream, whispered sweet nothings, curled up close. Was that you? Rebecca's heart thudded violently in her chest, each beat louder than the last. The demon lord leaned closer, his voice a deep, alluring whisper. Stay with me tonight. Wealth, power, glory, anything you want, I can give it to you. Even my blood. Just a single drop and your magic will double. She stared straight into his eyes. Hypnotic, dangerous, impossible to resist. This was a once-in-a-lifetime offer, and a way to survive. Pacino, standing nearby, watched her closely. Her blank expression made his stomach twist. His heart leapt to his throat. Please don't say the wrong thing. One slip and it'll be her end. But just when tension reached its peak, Rebecca snapped out of it. Her gaze cleared as she spoke firmly. I haven't known Pacino long, but I've seen him help the weak and show you unwavering loyalty. I want to protect that goodness in him. Even if I fear your power, I could never betray him. Never harm him. The demon lord gave a soft, unreadable hum. His expression remained completely neutral, impossible to interpret. Rebecca's nerves were on edge. Did I just talk my way out of that? Rebecca suddenly remembered what the dragon core had said. The demon lord won't remember what happened in the dream. So his earlier words, they were a test. After a long pause, the demon lord finally spoke, his voice low but weighty. Pacino has been with me since we were children. When the late king was assassinated, Pacino's father died alongside him. He's had no one since. No family, no friends, except me. He's always been alone. But now that you're with him, you'd better treat him right. Rebecca felt a jolt of guilt and shock. This cold-blooded tyrant is showing concern for someone else? Could it be he's lonely too? If he clung to a stranger so desperately in his dreams, he must have endured more pain than even Pacino. A faint wave of sympathy stirred in her chest. For the first time, her gaze toward the demon lord softened. But in the next breath, his eyes turned razor-sharp. If you betray Pacino, he said coldly, I'll personally put you on the gallows. Rebecca's blood ran cold. Right, never trust a demon lord. That man was born to die alone. To thank Pacino for helping her out at the banquet, Rebecca baked a few small cakes and secretly brought them to him. Blushing slightly, she asked, could you, maybe keep pretending to be my boyfriend a little longer? I think Princess Lily hasn't given up yet. Pacino agreed without hesitation. Rebecca was unexpectedly touched. What a genuinely good man. No wonder even the demon lord values him so much. But the moment she thought of the demon lord, her heart skipped. Crap. I still haven't completed my real mission. She knew all too well how paranoid and sharp-eyed he was. Trying to sneak his blood could cost her more than just her job. It could cost her life. What am I supposed to do? She groaned internally, tugging at her hair in frustration. Noticing her distress, Pacino offered gently, if there's something bothering you, I can help. Rebecca's eyes lit up. She quickly blurted, I just want a promotion, you know? So I need to understand His Majesty's preferences better. Pacino looked at her with quiet amusement. He wasn't fooled, not even a little. Over the past 2 days, her behavior had been anything but normal. While the other maids avoided the demon lord like the plague, she practically raced to serve him. At the banquet, Rebecca's eyes had barely strayed from the demon lord. Even while dancing, there was something different in the way she looked at him. Pacino had picked up on it. So the promotion excuse was a lie. She wants to get closer to His Majesty. Given how much was at stake, he couldn't be careless. Deciding to keep watching for now, he replied gently, I can't think of anything at the moment. I'll let you know if something comes to mind. Understood. Thank you, Commander Pacino. I won't bother you further, Rebecca said quickly before hurrying off. Pacino watched her retreating figure, lost in thought. His Majesty has never had a real friend. If someone could truly reach his heart, even just a little, I'd give my all to support that. I just hope Rebecca doesn't disappoint him, or me.